What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Wie geht's? Wie geht's alle miteinander? Wir sind hier nochmal ein Tag. Ach, man. How is everyone doing today? Early in the morning, rise and grind. It's time to get to this. Right? We are hacking away at this character. And, yeah, almost done. I looked at it and I realized that there's something I don't like. So we are going to fix it. Like, I think that this leg here, I think that it needs to come this way. Right? Like, I need to come this way with that instead of the other way, because it just, why it always does that? Oh, why it always does that? Because I think this leg here, actually, I think we're gonna pop this up. Go here and then pop it up, because it just doesn't look. It didn't look right to me, and thus we will change it. And sadly, I did find that thing we were looking for last time, and well, sadly, I don't have the Photoshop file for it. So sad. Oh, I forgot. So sadly, we're gonna have to ad hoc it. We'll make it work somewhere. All right, what about that? Bring this up a little bit, like so. I think that works a little better. Now we can actually come in and make a wee bit more of a design here. One thing I really do enjoy about these kind of graphic shapes is that you can just, people understand it. But that means that this shape, this one doesn't work. Just pop that out like so. Hello, once again. I do have to admit, I plan on trying out Clip Studio. I think I'm gonna have to do that on my own. I don't want to look like, what is this dude? Not knowing anything. Although I do need to remember to log in because they're giving out points. Giving out like logout points or something. I don't know. All right. So there's that. So now I have to try something, because I found my assets sheet, but the problem with the asset sheet is the fact that I don't, this is what I want, right? So if I select this, it's the right size. What? That's right. It's like that means. Like so. Right? It's roughly the right size. I think I made it too big now. Bring it in just a little bit. Right. All right. So now we have that, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another layer, and then we're gonna come in here and obviously thicken up this line, because right, our guy's got a pretty thick outline, so we want to go ahead and take care of that. So this was back when I was doing DesignWorks. The idea that I was trying to do was like, hey, you know, come watch me design, you know, Ninja Empire. And it's like, look at what I've done, you know, and stuff like that. So, it was kind of cool. Like, it worked for a while. And this was at the beginning of my YouTube push last year, right? Like, I had my YouTube, like, everyone had their YouTube channel for like ever, you know what I mean? And then it was like everyone had their YouTube channel forever, and then they finally decided to do something with it, and that's me. So you go back, you look at my YouTube channel, and it's like, it's been like a decade. You're like, yeah, I had it, but I didn't do anything with it. Yeah, and be like, oh, for years I didn't do anything, and then it's like, oh well, I'll post something. This YouTube thing kind of looks like it's gonna do something, you know, without actually pushing on it like a smart person early, so I didn't have to worry about it now. And so, but check, you know, so we no, what is that? So I might come back to it. I like the idea. I mean, normally I do character design stuff, you know, it's normally my wheelhouse, but because I'm creating this entire world, I've realized that that's do all kinds of stuff like that. So it's not working. A little variation. Here, and since we're using this, we already know where our line weight's coming from. So look at my rock. Let me take that. The only killer here, let's see if it's in my assets, if I flipped it. Nope. Alright, so now we have that, right? We're gonna go Control A, C, V. Still getting used to all these, you know, super streamlined elements from 2020, or I think I'm in 2021. All right, now the only problem is I want to flip, like, I can flip the whole thing, but then the lighting will be off. Right, so if we did that, the only problem is that the lighting's off. So, what I think I need to do, come in here, wait, no, we're gonna, so now we have this, right? Put that in the wood. Okay, so that's gonna be a problem. Alright, so we're gonna molt. Screen or overlay? No. Overlay, thank you. And then we're gonna line it up. Okay, then we're gonna come over here and we'll flip it, transform, and then flip. Alright, okay. And then we need to reverse these two. Put that back to normal. Wait, which one is supposed to be up front? That one. Alright. So now that we're going to try and catch the light, we're going to... Oops. One. Oh, man. It looks like it's lined up. Oh well. But it looks... Okay, so it's over. So we go to overlay. Yeah, the black line's what's killing me. I can't see it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now if we there we go. Okay, now we should be good. Now we should be good. Alright, so now we're gonna erase here. Here. Right. Cool. Alright, getting there, cheating. Like so. Is this anything? No. Into the other one. The other one looked like. Okay, so that one doesn't have a shadow. So in other words, since that one doesn't have a shadow, then we come to the stamp tool, we go here. Let's see what's going on. And that. That's a bummer. That shouldn't happen either. Ah, shouldn't happen either. Oh, no, we went too far. Here. Started erasing. Okay, good. Good. Right there. That's where we need to be. Let me select that out. Erase again. Now we know better, right? So we know that this needs to happen. Erase down here. Erase everything up here. Same thing here. Alright, we erase. Actually, we should keep that. But, nope, because it's going the wrong way. Alright, so we go here, right? And erase this out. Okay. And so there's a reason why there's a reason why we have the two sides, right? Because of the two demons. So they're two separate demons inside these things. And so that's how it's indicated with the left and the right, right? So you see, flipped, so from the left and the right. And then what happens is that if they come together, I guess I should flip them. Okay, so once it's done, I'm gonna have to flip them, so that it's not like, oh well, in the right hand it's on the left thing. It's just so when they come together. So eventually he's like, right, and he brings them together to create this big, awesome, super demon. Mostly because he can, like he can let one out, he can let the other one out, but if he smushes them together, they become super demon. Alright, so alright, so we got that. Alright, we want to come in just a wee bit here. Like that. But then, so if this is gone, we need to do the stamp here. Let's see, oh, here. Stamp there. Just so we can get rid of that. Alright, okay. So now that that's good, okay, so we have that now. Now it's on that side, which means that we need to come in and try and get this shadow. Wait, what? Let's look at the big one. So I made it not a shadow? It's a highlight? Oh, because it's raised up. Okay. Not raised up. Alright, so... Wait, it's already there. What am I doing? It's already there. So everything's fine. Alright, I'm overthinking it. Alright, so now we're going to combine these two. And then this one... No, don't need to... This one just needs to come over here. And become... Oops. Become that one. Then we have the same circle, so now we should, yeah. And then do that at 100%. See where our circle is going to be. Bam and bam. And then we'll add effects later. Oh, we should probably turn it. Should probably turn this one just a little bit. Maybe not that much. So it's not straight. And then we have some line over here, and that needs to go. No. Control E that one. What is this? Oh, that's that line. That needs to go in. Alright, now that we have those done, we don't have to worry about those. Now we can actually start coloring! We can start knocking this out. Alright, so we're going to add this onto multiply. We're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to start some color. Because it's about time. Now the problem is I have to find my... Okay. Gotta find the profile for this guy. Oh wait. I don't have to because BAM! He's over here. So we're just gonna and drop him over there for a moment. We can pull colors from. Still don't know if I want to put the symbol right on his forehead. I think I do, but I don't know. We'll see how it looks afterwards. Select, modify, expand by 2, looks good. Gold here. do, 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 do. Modify, expand to drop in, done. What? Oh, no, we can't do it there. Are you kidding me right now? There we go. I was saying, like, come on now. Don't do me like this. Don't do me like this. And it's all, you know, what generally happens, it's all about cleanup. Clean up, clean. Oh my goodness, why do I have that? Well, I know why I have the song stuck in my head. His son's going to pre-K, and that's one of the songs that they do. Clean up, everybody do your part. Do 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 do. We're just flying right along. And how are you guys doing today? This morning? Working? Are you working or are you hardly working? Tillman and the Kaisernauts. You are up too late again. Yeah. You still coding? Or are you just enjoying the night? To say the least, man. It's been crazy. And I live in the DMV, so I live in DC, Maryland, Virginia area. It was crazy to get an alert Virginia, and it was like, there's a 6 o'clock curfew. I was like, oh. And it was a 6 o'clock curfew. Literally, that announcement came out in like, it was like 6:50, I think. And then there was another one at 6:55. So at most there was 10 minutes. It was like, you have 10 minutes to get home. The purge is coming. It's just like, it was like, oh my goodness. Luckily I was home. The bad part was that we had just ordered pizza because we were watching everything kind of unfold and all that kind of stuff. And then it was like, so I don't want to cook. Like, the world's falling apart. I don't want to cook. Just want to order pizza. And then we ordered pizza, and then like 3 minutes later, it was like curfew. It's like, no. So we didn't know if we were gonna get our pizza or not. I was really worried about it. And so when I called back up, I was like, hey, are you guys still, you took my money, are you still delivering? The phone was just busy. I'm like, what? So I was like, no, I'm not even gonna get my pizza. It would be remotely point view on his stomach. Yeah, that would be a good one. The crazy part about it is, the actual not divide, but the show of where we as humans stand, and where the police department stands, and where the government stands, because just a couple, literally just a couple of months ago, there were the Black Lives Matter protests, and they're all they started huge gatherings, right? Very, very huge gatherings, which was fair that people were freaking out, but it was huge gatherings, but everything was peaceful. There was nothing there, nothing. And then, they got tear gassed and tear bombed, and life was just horrible, right? And there was just like so much force was being used for no reason. 7-year-old girls getting pepper sprayed in the face, and you're just like, what is going on here? And then you see this, where there was an actual riot, right? Actual factual rioting. They stormed the freaking Capitol, for crying out loud, right? They stormed the Capitol, and nothing. They're just like do. And there was only one clear distinction between what was going on, and that's sad. All right? And you're just like, yesterday was rough for me. I'm not even gonna lie. Yesterday was a rough day as it unfolded. It was just like, I was broke. I mean, I need to tell you, I was so emotionally spent yesterday that I went to bed at like 8:30. It's so unheard of. It's just like, my wife looked at me. I was like, I'm gonna take a shower and go to bed. She looked at me. She's like, okay. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, nope. I'm just gonna go sleep it off. Like, I'm gonna go sleep it off. I can't right now. Like I said, I was hurt. I was hurt. And there's not much, like, we want to talk about as a black man in America. Yeah, it seems as though I don't have that right. So, luckily for me, talking to a small stream, nobody's gonna go bananas on me. Although I made the mistake a couple years ago about posting something like my personal view, like, this is how I'm feeling, I'm hurt, right, on Facebook, and oh my goodness, people just didn't. I mean, they came out of the woodwork to tell me how awful I was. Just because I voiced my own opinion. She's a lot younger in this country. She escaped from. Yeah, it's crazy. And the bad part is, at this point, it's like the world is watching us. Like, this is, it's so bad. So bad. It was people. This is one of the ones I'm like, I just don't understand. Why would we do this? Why are we trying to make ourselves look like asshats? You know what I mean? It's just like, like, jeez, man. My parents, my mom is German, like full-blown German, and my mom and dad, they still live, right? My dad retired from the military in Germany. And so it's like, they're right, they're calling me, they're writing me, and they're like, are you okay? Is everything all right? What's going on? I'm just like, especially since this is where I live, like, I live in that area. They're freaking out, and I'm like, look, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't post feelings on Facebook because the internet's full of horrible people. Yeah, it was a mistake. And like I said, I normally don't do it, but there was something, it was so bad. It's so bad. And the outpour for what was going on, and I'm just like, you guys, you know what? And I made that mistake, and I said something, and boy, did the internet let me have it. My kids love that song. We didn't start the fire. It's true though. It's true. And then, you know, the thing that's hard for me is that I got little kids, right? And then having to, or not even having to, like, they just see it. Like, my oldest that's still in the house, my oldest is 18, so I should check on him and see what's going on. He's in the Navy, so I gotta see what the outroar was over there. But, you know, explaining to my kids is just like, you know, they see it on TV or on the internet and TikTok and all that stuff, and it's just like, what's going on? I'm like, don't ask me. I don't know. Oh look, I did have colors. I made him really dark. He's almost dead. So it's one of those ones where you're just like, man, I saw this meme and it was like, I'm getting a little tired of living through all these historical events. I'm like, yeah. It was major historical events. I'm like, yeah, it's been kind of bananas as of late. I mean, not even as of late, it's just been bananas. It's crazy. So, because of what you do, is your line of work impacted when crap like this is happening? I need to find an illustrator for my new alt history book that features a Tronal duck, a drump. And did you by chance see his message to his riders that he set in motion? Just literally breaking the law with their actions, and then he releases that video and you're just like, what? And then, you know, we have people who are peacefully protesting for certain things, right? And then that happens and you're just like, ugh. Like, well, sort of. I can't really talk much about the stuff I know is happening in the background, but I'm far away from anything. Yeah, no, I mean, even if you did, like, look, I'm a military child, so trust me, I get that. You know, it's like, oh, I can't really say much. I'm like, nah, I get that. I was just wondering if that's, you know, something, you know, like this is happening, and it affects you too. It's just, ugh. Just crazy. Personally affecting? No, not really. It's just jarring to see it happen on TV. Like, I'm watching stuff that's simulated in the whole country. Yeah. I mean, it's just horrible. That's all there is to that. I'm like, it was, the whole thing was awful. And then seeing the pictures, you know, of them like inside, and you're just like, wait a minute, you guys think that this is. You think that this is a good thing, that you have now violated this area, you know, that's supposed to be protected, and it's like, I don't think you understand what that implies, you know. And it's like the security should in theory be ramped up. They're gonna be awful to people. I mean, it's just like it's just gonna be all around horrible. Like, luckily I don't have to go into DC ever. It's like I don't have to go in DC for anything, you know. And so luckily for me, you know, I'm safe for that. But for anyone who has to work there, it's gonna be horrible. Yeah, past the 3,000 mark in monthly income into my pocket from my stock. Oh, nice. Congrats, man. That's awesome. It's like, early retirement. I happen to be an artist. There's no such thing. Gosh, I don't know why I do this to myself. Look at all these stupid lines. It is a little. What's funny is that little bit that I'm doing for the netting, most people aren't even gonna see. They're not even gonna see it. It's alright. It's a little detail for me. Okay. I just want minimal warfare so I can draw what I want instead of having someone else tell me what to draw. Yeah. I worked too long. Yeah. Well, what's funny is like there's people have been asking me, they're like, oh, you know, do you, it's like, oh, you should be, you know, when I do my comic stuff, not trying to do a pitch for Netflix, which is that's what I'm working on, just in case I haven't said that enough times. So when I'm doing my comic stuff, they're all like, oh, you know, why are you working for Marvel or DC or anything like that? I'm like, yeah, that would require me to do a submission. And after working with Marvel and DC for so long, I'm like, it's not as for me, right? I'm not saying that it's not as awesome for anybody, but for me, I'm like, you know what? After drawing Spider-Man and Wolverine for so long, it doesn't interest me, right? And I know like 13-year-old me is like, what are you talking about? How dare you say that you don't want to draw these characters anymore? You love these characters. Like, I love the X-Men. I think they're cool. They're all kind of old, right? No one's really trying to be like, oh, let's do something. Or the things that they do create are like, why did you do that? Or they're being reactionary to like, oh, you know what, the LGBTQ community is really really on and popping right now. You know what we should do? Let's make some characters that are gay and trans and lesbian, instead of already like having that. Like, that was the intent. You know, you're like, you're just reacting to stuff, you know, and just like, and so the stories reflect that, and you're just like, these were garbage, And to be honest, I'm like, I'd rather have less attention, you know, have some attention, because, you know, having attention is important. But it's like, I'd rather have some attention and do my own thing, or be able to work on a series where I have a lot more input, because then I don't always want to keep saying, well, that was a publisher, or, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, that was a publisher, there's nothing I can do about that. Because I'm getting sick and tired. Like, I wrote 2 books on character design, and every time I had to go with their format, and I'm just like, dude, did you even pay attention to what's going on here? Like, look at this, there's so much dead space here. And, you know, the big critique that I get back is like, well, this format's weird. You know, it's not the content. It's like, the format could have been different. We could have got less book. It could have cost a lot less if they would have formatted it differently. I'm like, I agree. So, you know, I was like, from here on out, let me save this. I was like, from here on out, I'm going to do it my way. You know, so, I don't know. That being said, I would actually love to work in a Disney art sweatshop for a few months to earn the right to say I'm a former Disney artist. No, absolutely. You know, like, I would love, don't get me wrong, if I could go in and be like, all right, like, remotely, like, if I could do something remotely, or, you know, if Disney was where I was, so I don't have to do like some huge like move and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, are you kidding? I would love to, you know. But now if I could just do it remotely, where they're like, hey, you got to come into the Zoom calls for the meetings and you get the critiques and all that kind of stuff, man. Like Blizzard, I would love to jump into. I would love to come into a Disney, you know, like you said, like a Disney sweatshop. Man, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh my goodness, what the XP chats. Holy crap. Whoa, what is going on? Hello, people. That is banana balls. Welcome. Jeez, that's a lot of people. Hosting with 180 viewers. Thank you so much for that host. But yeah, going back to I don't see anyone popping up. I know it's 108 viewers. Like, thank you so much for that. Going to a sweatshop, like, that would be great. You know, the reason why I keep doing like odd jobs for Marvel and Upper Deck and stuff like that is for, like you said, the street cred, you know, so that I can actually be like, hey, you know, this is what's happening. But you know what I mean? It's still like, I'd much rather be working on my own thing, which is what I'm doing. You know, so that's my big thing. So now it's mostly just trying to get some really cool stuff that I'm doing myself out to people. Trying to be awesome. You know what I mean? And then, you know, dealing with the idea that not everyone's gonna see it, right? Like, what I should be doing is really trying to actually do a submission, you know, for Marvel, like, officially try and get on a comic real quick, get a little buzz, and then be like, all right, I'm out. Maybe, you know, but I don't know. I think I'm set in my ways at this point to be like, no, I'm just going to I'm literally just going to keep doing my own thing. And that is a hard road. Like, I have a lot of students, right? Like, I have a whole bunch of students that I try and help. And they're like, oh, well, I want to do my own thing. It's like, look, your own thing is great, but you have to be aware that your own thing is a tough. Look at it and be like, oh wow, this deserves awesome. Like, just recently, someone told me that, like, for YouTube, they're like, you deserve more subs, and I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not doing all this, like, oh, let me do an art challenge and paint with pudding. The entertainment, and that's what people want, right? For the most part, that's what people want, is the entertainment factor. They don't necessarily want cool stuff. They want to be entertained, which is fair, right? You come to a platform like this so you can, it's TV, right? You just want to be entertained, and that's perfectly fine, unless, of course, that's not what I'm trying to do, right? Like, in that instance, I'm trying to be entertaining, but I'm not trying to be an entertainer, right? So when I do my videos for YouTube and stuff, it's still like, oh, look, I got all this, quirky, funny stuff that I'm like, ha ha ha, look at this, but whoops. But besides that, it's going this way. I'm not trying to go out of my way to be like, like, look at me, I'm painting with pudding. Like, I don't care. Like, what I'm going to be putting together this year is, I am going to go forward with, like, the idea of Design Works, but it's like every week. So it's like, what did I accomplish this week? And I show, like, look, I was drawing here, or I put up this board to really, keep me focused, and, just stuff like that, board meetings and crazy stuff. But it's not the Design Works that I was doing, where I'm like, well, today I was working on some assets, but I get to do that as well. Like, I get to talk about, like, oh, well, today I was able to do assets, or, what was really crappy was this, and, like, for this, I know for this first one that I do for 2021, it's going to be like, well, in the first week that I was trying to do something, the world broke out in stupid. And I'm like, I lost an entire day. Like, I think it was like what was it, 2:00? My day was done. Like, I was toast. Like, I had nothing left. Because I was just emotionally toast. So, one of the best and saddest stories I've heard is actually Drew Struzan. Everyone knows his art and how good and influential and emotionally charged it is with some people, yet he says that the reason he retired was because he was so tired of having his heart broken because marketing people didn't care about the story. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, like, if you, there is a benefit to you doing it yourself, right? Because you are in complete control. But, like, so I created a game called Dark Legacy, right? And I was very happy with my game. It did really well. Like, I couldn't even keep up with the demand from people. People are like, oh my goodness, I need more. Like, I need more cards. And I'm like, all right, I'm working on them. So I was busting my butt trying to get this, this thing going. And it was great, right? Like, it felt great that I had created something that people really, really wanted, right? And I'm like, awesome. And so I was like, but I can't keep up with the demand. I need to go with someone who, has an array of artists that they can do all of. I know that for a fact. And I was willing, I'm like, I'm gonna, I'll sell it. which is what I did, right? And I was like, I'll sell it, but in the contract is like, I want to be as as they said in the musical Hamilton, I want to be in the room where it happens. And so I was like, but I'm writing myself in to like design process and stuff like that. Like you have to come and talk to me. You can't just you shouldn't just be making major decisions and stuff like that, even though it was their, at that point it was their game because they had bought it. And they agreed to that, and I was like, all right, as long as you're cool with that, then we can move forward. I developed the game mechanics. I did game mechanics, story. I did everything, which was awesome, right? And it was a story that I had control of. I loved every second of it. It was just like, this is awesome. And then once I gave it to someone else, everything started changing, right? And you're just like, wait a minute, that's not. Oops, that is on the wrong side. Like, wait a minute, you shouldn't do that. You should do don't do that. Do this. And they're like, well, we thought that it was too hard the way you had it. And I was like, well, but that was the point. It was like it was meant to be frustrating at this point, so that once you grind past that point, you feel a sense of accomplishment, right? Like there was a whole thing to it. Like I was really trying to make sure that you felt something, right? Like when if you've ever played D&D, like you're grinding through level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until something really awesome. You're like, oh my goodness, thank goodness, now you're like, finally, it's awesome. Wait, that's still backwards. The light's coming from here. It's definitely gonna drop on the other side. So I was like, no, we should keep that. And they're like, well, based on the standards and stuff that we know, it would be better if we did it this way. And I'm like, all right. And so throughout the whole thing, the game changed. And so I actually had the person who courted me to get the game, he had left, right? He had went to a different company. And I saw him at Gen Con, and he was just like, man, I'm sorry that they changed your game. It was like, because from what I remember with your pitch and convinced me about the game, it's not there anymore. It's a different game. I was like, yeah, it is. And they would add stuff that they thought was good that didn't make any sense to me. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. They're like, well, it's just so we don't want to confuse people with this. And I'm like, you're confusing them by adding it. But, and that's what happens. As soon as you give it to someone else, it's going to change. And it sucks, right? But you have to be, if you are going to give it to someone else, you have to be okay with that. If you can't be okay with them changing it, then, the problem is that you shouldn't be giving it to someone. And that is the harsh reality, right? You're like, don't give it to anyone then. And then do it on your own and, get the money. That's the problem, right? Money. You got to have the money. If you don't have the money, you can't really do it on your own. You have to have someone to help support you, or you put yourself in astronomical debt. And, you're just like, now, and you're praying to whoever it is that you pray to, that people will like it in the end. Because once my game got out to the mass market without proper marketing, because that's the thing, right? It goes against what card game, Magic players hate it. So, because my game is a mix between Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and any type of strategic game like chess or something like that. And they hate the fact that I took away their control. Right? Because in Magic, you're like, all right, I know exactly this, that, and the other thing. But I remember playing Magic, not having enough money to actually be a threat, right? Because if you didn't buy all the cards, have all the super stuff, you weren't really, you were just a casual player. Even though I was going into tournaments and stuff like that, I'd always get my butt handed to me because I, like I said, I didn't have the money. So I developed a mechanic that equalized that whole thing. And it was suggested to me from people from Magic. They're like, look, the game seems solid, but by you doing this, you're going, a lot of people are going to have issues with it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. But then so many people, when I'm like, this is what I did, they're like, oh man, that's the thing that I really hate currently about Magic, And I'm like, yep, that's why I did it. So it works really well as an independent game. And then because it wasn't marketed well, it doesn't really work as a mainstream. I mean, it works, but so many of the people had such a hard time. And it was funny because even when I was doing interviews and stuff, they're like, oh wow, this is interesting, this is unique, I like how you did this is great. And I'm like, thank you. But because most people didn't want to hear anything, like when I came back and I was like, no, okay, you're doing this wrong, this is how this is supposed to work, and they're like, nobody wanted to listen. And so they're just like, this game is horrible. I'm like, you're not playing it right. And I'm like, and it's okay, but it comes with the territory. If you are, if you give your stuff to someone else, you are going to be subject to how they treat the game. And if they don't see your vision like you do, and you give it to them, they will change it to their vision. It's just the way it is. I mean, it's harder to transfer the design philosophy than synergize it. Yep, I'm facing a dilemma on my own projects. I want to open source. Ooh, open source. But definitely gonna have to bring this up now that I see it. So, but I have to say though, doing it on my own, like this, it might take a little bit longer, because I'm like, well, I have a full-time job, right? I can't dedicate 8 to 10 hours a day into making this. Like, I just can't. And then I have a family, right? Which is that's a priority for me. And so I'm like, I'm gonna get it done, and I'm gonna do it as fast as I possibly can. But I've realized that I want to be in control. Like, I definitely want to be in control of what happens here. Now, but that's only up to this point, right? Because if Netflix comes in, like, right, so let's just say I do this pitch to Netflix or to Hulu or Amazon Prime, whatever, and it gets picked up, and I'm like, all right, well, at that point, I know for a fact I'm out, right? They're gonna do whatever they want themselves, and that's just all there is to that, right? But once again, you have to be okay with that if you want the exposure. And what's going to be great is that I don't intend on being like, oh yeah, you guys can have all the rights. Like, no. I still plan on making a comic, and I plan on making this, and I plan on doing this. You can't have it all. Sorry. So, save. Go back to my colors. So yeah. 2:15. All right, getting close to cutoff time for today's morning stream. I do plan on being back though later today, maybe even at night. Whoops. Oh. So, because I want to get into more of a drawing. I want to get more into a drawing regiment, so that I can get more done. Just like we talked about, so we can get more done. But yeah. Oh. A spam sandwich, huh? Yeah, I have to be honest, I'm not a spam fan. Now, everyone keeps telling me that, you know, it's because I'm doing it wrong, which is possible. It's very possible. Like, I haven't had anyone show me the proper way to make a spam sandwich. And I know they're like, oh, you gotta fry it up and you gotta do, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, all right. It's just never happened, so. You know, just one of those ones where I'm like, been there, tried it, didn't like it. That we should be straight. If that's the case. Oh crap, I still had to come in. It was like, oh yeah. Got all those stupid details in there that I gotta add. All spam sandwiches are horrible. Okay. I can understand that. It's an acquired taste. You know, I have friends, they love spam sandwiches. Like, that's their thing. When I told them, they're like, hey, yeah, you can come over, we'll have spam sandwiches. They're like, nope. They're like, oh, you just never had it right. And I'm like, that's a big statement. Are you going to be able to do it right for me? They made it. They're like, how is it? I'm like, it's better than when I made it, but it's still a spam sandwich. But at least Insurrection on Capitol Hill. It's true. It's true. Oh my goodness. So I started, I'm gonna go back and start eating healthier again, because 2020 was a dumpster fire and it just ruined everything. And I'm like, yes. And I was doing really good, right? Past 6 days. And then yesterday happened, and it was like, I'm going to order pizza. I was like, I'm done. I'm ordering pizza. Screw it. Musubi. Yeah, I'm going to bed in an hour or so. Hope the day is good. Thanks. I hope everything works out on your end. Thanks for hanging out as always. Thanks for coming in. Always a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully, hopefully this, whatever the hell this was yesterday, will be done, and we can continue with our regular scheduled dumpster fire. And definitely stop staying up so late. Would you be the Shogun of your universe? Well, so there is. I officially do have a character in this, in the Ninja Empire. But as far as my own universe goes, yes, yes, I would be. But in the story itself, I am not. At least the character that is based off of me, like. All the decisions that you will see happen from that character is the way that I would handle stuff. And it's a revenge story, so... Which I have to update my Patreon because, well, when I first started the Patreon, it was something different. Like, the big thrust of it is still the same, but there's a lot that's changed. And of course, now I have some characters, so... Ah! Should probably do ninja art. Maybe I can bring it back. Yes. Hell yes. I support this message. Do it. My goal, and I know it's stupid, but I'm a child of the 80s, and in the 80s, like, ninjas were it, right? They just brought all that ninja goodness. Like, if you had an action movie, you had a ninja in it, right? Cartoons had ninjas. Freaking G.I. Joe was like, oh crap, ninjas are hot right now. Let's make some ninjas, right? Because that makes sense. But I was like, heck yeah, man, ninjas. And so what I would really like to do is have a project, or at least enough social presence to be like, ninjas, you should like them again. Like, let's bring them back to the forefront. Let's put them in video games. Let's put them in, I mean, I know that Mortal Kombat has held, it's held true, but it's only Mortal Kombat, you know what I mean? Everyone does love Ninja Pirate Dinosaur robot art. So, my big thing is to try and bring it back to where more people are like, yep, gotta have a ninja in it. If it doesn't have a ninja, it's not worth it. That's my hope. That would be awesome. Let's somehow manage that. That would be awesome. Alright. right? Look at me. Oh, I need to add another circle in here. Someone's awake. Ninja Apocalypse. 24. Alright, well, we're definitely getting to the point to where it's time to close up shop. Because I gotta go wake up my kids. So, just wanted to say thank you guys for joining me. And, we will have to finish this one. It's almost done, and we're gonna have to finish them up a little later. But I have to go wake up all the kids for school, so I'm gonna have to call it quits. We're gonna come here, recenter my man, call it quits. All right, thank you guys so very much. It's been awesome. You've been great, and I will see you guys the next stream. And remember, born a ninja, die a ninja. See you guys.